What is the domain of the function square root of x minus 4? Well, first off, I can go to my calculator and graph it, which I kind of like to do, as I can see by graphing at it that it looks like, we're looking at values like 4 or larger. If you think about it, if you go to your calculator and also do your table, Control T, you'll see error at 3, and you'll see 4 has an answer of 0, which is the smallest value you can have, because anything smaller than 4, because think about it, 4 minus 4 is 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. Anything smaller than 4 and a minus 4 from it will be a negative, and you can't square root a negative. Also, we have a horizontal liar here to indicate that it is not minus 4 to the left, but 4 to the right. If you were to graph this, makes it a little easier to see the domain. So I'm going to write my domain as either x greater than or equal to 4, because 4 is a solution to this. And if I do it in the bracket format or notation format, it would be bracket 4, comma, infinity. Okay, now, what about a graph here of y equals square root of x, and it shifted left 8 units and shifted down 6? What would be an equation to write that? Well, first off, the square root of x would look like this, okay, with the domain here at 0, right, greater than or equal to 0, and in a range greater than or equal to 0 also. Just kind of putting that out here as an extra benefit. We're going to shift it left 8, all right? Well, left 8 would make it, actually, I think we reflected it first. Reflected is written first. So reflected about the x-axis. And all that's going to do is this. Now then, all the positive answers we had are now negative. And if you will notice, from the previous page here, they're all positive. Look at my range, greater than or equal to 0, 0 to infinity. And now the domain didn't change any. None of the x's changed. And the y's just flipped from positives to negatives because I'm putting a negative in front of it. So now I'm looking for values less than or equal to 0, or from negative infinity to bracket 0. Notice also the side switched from 0 to infinity, and now it's negative infinity to 0, because you always write smallest one first, smallest number first. Negatives are smaller than zeros. So now let's shift it 8 to the left. Now it's a horizontal liar, so that's going to move the whole thing 8 to the left, all right? Not so which is as a plus 8 in the sign, all right? Because think about it, it would take a negative 8 plus 8 to be back at 0. And notice the range didn't change because the values are still the same from negative infinity to 0. However, the domain did change to negative 8, all right? Because negative 8 plus 8 now makes 0. And then if I move it down 4 or 6, it gets down 6. Notice my domain didn't change because I didn't move the x's any, but my range changed from 0 to negative 6. It just moved down. You can see it over here in the tables. So hopefully that helped demonstrate domain and range, how shifting the graphs do that, and how we shift the graphs with our horizontal shift as a horizontal liar, vertical, and our reflections.